Hey, it's Wendy Collier of wendycollier.com. I help empower women to unleash their soul fuel and profit from their passion, making a difference in their lives and in the world. And today I am going to debunk 3 very popular myths that I hear regarding finding your purpose and getting clarity around that. All right, but before we begin, I'd like to ask you a question. Is there anyone else out there who is a little bit tired of the word purpose or a little fatigued about the idea of finding your purpose? Is that bad for me to say? In my industry, it might be. I like to think of it as finding your happiness, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It is your birthright to be happy, and certainly if you are happy, those around you feel happier too. That includes, your inner circle, family and friends, your neighbors, your community, people on the road, anybody whose life you touch, right? So can you imagine this planet with a bunch of happy peeps bouncing around? It'd be great. Wouldn't be any violence. A lot of the bigger issues that we see would not exist. So I hope that we can agree for now that it is not selfish to seek your happiness, but rather it is a gift to the world to do so. And finding your purpose is essentially that. It's finding your freedom, your fulfillment, and your joy. Right? Good. So this video is for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in the making. Entrepreneurs, you know who you are. You either have a part-time or a full-time business that is maybe struggling a little bit. You're trying to figure out what's not working quite so well. Maybe you're not making the money that you need and you're a little bit worried you may have to go back and get a job. Entrepreneurs in the making, typically you are still stuck in corporate or an institutional job or another type of work that you're really unhappy in and want to get out. You have an inkling that you're meant for something more. So this is for both groups of people. Okay, so I frequently hear from my community. They're a great group of people. And recently I asked a question. I said, hey, let me know what you are really struggling with right now. How can I help you right now? And I got a slew of emails, really good, well thought out emails. Some people took more time than others. It was very impressive how much detail. And so this video has come as a result of that. And I do want to give a special shout out to a few people from my community for their extra time in answering that question. And for privacy's sake, I won't give their last names, but Erin, thank you for writing. And Lindsay, you know who you are. Diane and Kristen. Thank you. You are the inspiration behind this video blog. All right, let's get started. So myth number 1, I can't do anything until I figure it out. I call this the ducks in a row syndrome. This began probably back in kindergarten when we were trained to really get it all together before we brought something out into the public or showed people what we did, right? Probably started with show and tell and moved on in our lives, and certainly in corporate. You really had to get your act together before you did presentations and things like that, right? I have really good news for you. You figure it out as you go. Yeah, I know that sounds funny to many of you, but it is really the best way for you to gain confidence and clarity. Action precedes confidence. The more you take action, the more confident you're going to feel because you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. But really, the clarity is the most astounding thing that happens when you start to take steps. And I'll give you a couple examples of this. My own example is that I knew I wanted to be a certified coach, but I had no idea what I wanted to coach people in. I have a lot of different interests and passions, and that confused me a little bit. So I decided to start in as a fitness coach. I love health and fitness, and people were always asking me what I do for my exercise. So I figured, hey, what the heck, I'll start there. Honestly, I didn't think it was the end all for me, and it wasn't, as it turns out. But I did have 10 clients all at once doing fitness coaching. And as I did it, I realized that I didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. But I was on the right track. And by the way, I want to give you a bonus myth debunk, and that is that you need to have a website to have a business. Nope. And that should be good news for a lot of you. I did not have a website as a fitness coach. I never did. And it was all word of mouth back then. And today that works just the same. It is very powerful, and there's different marketing strategies online and offline for word of mouth business. Online is much more powerful and far reaching. And I actually teach a strategy in my private program around how to do that. But anyway, I did not have a website, and I had plenty of business. And my clients come to me without websites, and they get business without websites. They start with an online event that is one web page, and that's all that it takes to get you up and running. So the other example is of a client. I didn't ask her permission, so I will change her name. I'll call her Lisa. So she came to me. She was in the middle of getting her coaching certification. She wasn't sure what specialty or even the group of people she wanted to work with. The subject she wasn't clear on, like relationships versus career, health, business, just wasn't sure. And that's okay. That's exactly why you hire a coach. I have all sorts of tools and exercises to help people get clear, because it was so painful for me. I decided to create a step-by-step process so that it wasn't so painful for people. So she went through that process with me in my program and became more clear. But really the thing that did it was this online event strategy that I teach. And as she took those steps and launched that event into the world, she got more and more clear about what she wanted to do. And I remember she just kept coming to me, she's pretty much figured it out now, but she kept coming to me in the beginning stages and saying, wow, I'm really now thinking I want to work with first generation 20-somethings and helping to, help them feel freer and pursuing their passion and so forth. That's a very specific niche, which is good from a marketing standpoint. Helps you communicate more clearly to your people. She didn't figure that out until she started talking to experts in her area of expertise, and she was doing this online event, right? And it goes on and on. I could give you so many examples of how action creates clarity. So when you say you can't do it until you figure it out, just please know that it is actually in the doing that you become clear. And there's another idea behind this that is important for you to understand, and that is to trust in yourself. And to know that if you're watching this video, you're meant to do something more. You already have an inkling. You have a general idea. And just starting with that general idea will help you to get moving if you just take certain smart steps and work with somebody to do that, okay? So myth number 2, there is only one purpose for my life, and if I don't figure it out, I am screwed. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, right? That's a lot of pressure. First of all, we're talking about happiness and fulfillment. So let's just say, do you think there's only one happiness for you? Probably not. Likewise, there isn't just one purpose. You will have many purposes in your life. Certainly the core of who you are, the essence of who you are and what you represent in the world will likely not change, but the what you do and the how you do it may look very different than you think in the beginning and in the middle and the end. So feel free to take the pressure off yourself. Let me give you permission to do that there is more than one reason for your existence on this planet, and more than one happiness to be found for you. I see this similar to soulmates. I think there's more than one soulmate for all of us in our lifetimes. And likewise, you have more than one soul-based business that you can launch into the world. I've had several. I feel like they all represented me very well. They all look very different. Very different, and that's okay. It gives you a lot of, it's very dynamic and fun and exciting that way. Okay. The third myth I'd like to debunk, it will come to me someday, and when it does, I'll know what to do. Yeah. I heard once that someday leads to the road to nowhere, basically. I've said the word. I rarely, if ever, say it now in my life because I know what it means. It usually means, I hate to say it, it's not going to happen. It's a way for us to hold back and to put off what we know we're meant to do. And you'll find that when people encounter crisis or tragedy, suddenly the someday becomes today, right? They get in a car accident, someone gets sick, and and everything changes. You don't want that to happen to you in order to figure this out. You know that now, someday is today, right? So I feel genuinely that if you're watching me right now, you have a really good idea about the general area that you want to go, and that will help you to find what you need to do next as you take those steps. And like I said, and so you're probably hearing the theme by now, right? Action, 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 get moving. If you need to get unstuck, you have to move, right? If you're stuck against a wall, for example, like gum or glue, what do you do to get unstuck? You move. You shimmy your way out, and that will help you on your way. So I have a little assignment for you to do right now. Let's get moving a little bit. And I'd like you to get a pen and paper out right now. Either stop the video and do this, or just you can do it as I'm talking here. What is it costing you to stay stuck? What is it costing you to stay confused? What is it costing you to stay in fear? Think about this spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. I know, I seriously, this is embarrassing to admit. I stayed in stuckness and confusion for a decade. I don't know if you've heard my story, and I won't bore you with it right now. It was painful. Yeah. You don't have to go through that. That's a long time. And there are tools and exercises and resources available to you to help you with that. So ask yourself, what is it costing you to stay stuck, really? From a fulfillment standpoint, joy, well-being, peace of mind, sleep. What is it costing you? And take that seriously. Really. Okay? All right, so those 3 myths again. I can't do anything until I figure it all out. What did you learn there? You learned that you figure it out as you go. And actually you know more than you think, so it's not like you're starting from zero. Myth number 2, there's only one purpose, and gosh darn it, if I don't figure out that one purpose, I am completely screwed and off track. I believe there's more than one, and you will discover that as you move. And it also is, like we talked about, your happiness, right? So there's many things that will make you happy and fulfilled, and will make the world happy and fulfilled because you are doing what you are meant to do. Myth number 3, it will come to me someday, and when it does, I'll know what to do. Someday is the road that leads to nowhere. We don't want you going nowhere, so let's just call someday today. Okay? You're watching me for a reason. Our paths have crossed for a reason. So allow me to declare someday is today. Today. I am happy to help you think through this so you have a clear plan for yourself. So this is what you can do. You definitely want to book some time because I only have a few slots available at any given time. You want to find some convenient time for you, okay? So you want to look in the lower right-hand part of the screen, and you'll see a pop-up. It'll either say contact or let's talk, and you can click there and book a time with me. And I will give you some tools and an idea of a plan to get you started. And the tools that I'll give you are actually really clarifying and confidence instilling, because I believe in that as a beginning point. Again, you need to take some pretty important actions to get there ultimately, but I will certainly help you get started. So go ahead and book your time now with me in the lower right corner of your screen. Also, I would love to hear what takeaways that you had from today's video. Feel free to comment below. We are meant to be in community, especially as sisters, to gather together and support each other and cheer each other on. So we'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Many blessings, and I'll just say bye for now.